What's happening, guys? Welcome back to ClevverTV's Breaking Dawn Book Club. I'm Joslyn Davis with Dana Ward. Throwing the hands up. I love it. And today we are joined by two of our favorite experts to talk all things Breaking Dawn. Coming back to the show is our in-house guru from ClevverMusic, Bridget Daly. Salutations.
Hello to you.
Hello, my friend. And also joining us is someone we are super excited to have from Popstar magazine, one of our favorite publications on the planet. It's Alegre Rodriguez.
Woo-hoo!
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, I'm excited to be here.
Now, I know that you guys cover Twilight in general a lot as well, right?
Yes, we are big Twihards at Popstar, so very excited to dish the dirt.
Yes.
On the middle of the heart of Breaking Dawn.
The heart and
Love
soul
it.
of Breaking Dawn.
Seriously.
So right now, guys, we're going to be discussing chapters 11 and 12. And as you know, I'm sure, we are still in the point of view of Jacob, which is so cool, specifically because I love the chapter names. So chapter 11, they're not short chapter names.
No, they're not.
Chapter 11 is two things at the very top of my things I never want to do list. Doesn't that just roll off?
Just rolls
Yeah.
off the tongue.
Okay, so this chapter picks up right where chapter 10 left off, which is, where Sam had ordered them to attack the Cullens, and Jake's not having any bit of it, so he takes a stand. And I kind of felt like some of the other guys were sort of leading him to do it, even the guys that didn't go along with him. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I felt like there was a silent sort of, dissension going on, and none of them really have the courage to do it yet. But if Jacob does it, then maybe the rest of them will get up enough courage to sort of move leadership towards the new generation.
Right, exactly. And Jacob is the one that has, he's like sort of more invested than the rest of them. So they're like, okay, well, are you going to do this? Because you're the one who wants to change
Yeah, we're sort of waiting to see what he's gonna do.
Totally.
So obviously he does end up taking a stand, and Jacob at this point realizes that he's allowed to, because he's the born leader, the born alpha of the pack. He just hadn't taken that position before. And Jake is almost a part of the Cullen family, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, it's almost like despite all of his reluctance, they are welcoming him with such open arms because of the circumstances, like giving him clothes and food, and he doesn't want to take it, but it's like because of his concern for Bella, he's like, well, I have to do it for Bella. What's going to happen after you've been hanging out with the Cullens for so long that you start getting used to it? And I feel like they have really done right by him as much as he's doing right by her, and there's going to be, something to be said for that. So.
More of that to come down the line. So like we were saying earlier, this is really the part where Jake becomes the leader, of a new pack that's forming, so to speak, or so we think at this point. But he's a natural born leader, and it's really cool to see him take that place, take that stand between Sam and the Cullens, because not only is he siding with them, but he's also going against his entire family. And this isn't all, this is not just a sacrifice for him, it's a big sacrifice for Seth as well, which I think we tend to forget about. I mean, don't you think? Poor little Seth. I know you're a Seth fan.
I love Seth.
Huge Seth fan. I love Seth because he's just like, you know what? I like these people. They're cool. I know my family is like very serious about this, like the rules, but I'm not gonna let it like keep me back. And so I kind of love the fact that he's just like so eager and, wants to run his laps on the perimeter, and he's never tired, and he likes to go have breakfast with them. And I just feel like that, to me, is the first sort of piece of evidentiary information that those relationships are going to change.
Exactly, because he is the youngest,
and
looking
he's
down
very,
the future.
He's not holding on to that history, which you don't really need to do when you really think about it. So I really love the fact that he's just kind of chill. And
so cute. Boo Boo Stewart, I think of him always.
Yeah, I know.
So adorable.
Adorable.
And I feel
I'm so
like
excited
generally
to see what Boo Boo does.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
me too.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you
Oh
saying?
no, I feel like Seth has kind of been portrayed not as weak, but just like a shyer kind of character. But in all reality, this is when he really steps up and shows that he has this totally strong side to him.
Yeah,
Very bold,
which is
move
very
to see.
loyal.
Exactly. So these two guys, they head out to go and warn the Cullens that the pack is coming. And then they realize that they can only hear each other, which is like this magical moment when the two packs have, in fact, separated.
Yeah.
Because normally they can hear each other's thoughts, even if they're not necessarily getting along or in an argument, they could still hear each other. But not anymore.
Dude, I'd be like, thank God, less voices in my head. Seriously, only.
But this is like the beginning of Jake as the alpha.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
I agree. And let's be honest. Sam's a good guy. He's cool, but he's got a lot of baggage. And I'm like, Sam, like, reel it in. It's going to be all right, you know. And poor Leah.
Her life.
I know, right?
Living in the shadow of this broken relationship, and now and I feel like her being with Jake, and even though she like makes him crazy with all the voice talking in the head business, I sort of feel like this is going to be an opportunity for her to let all that baggage go.
And just get away. Have a vacation from her own brain. My gosh.
Exactly.
Crazy. So Jake at this point, you know, they're running around the perimeter of the house, making sure everybody's okay. And he looks through the window and he sees Bella inside with an IV connected. And I think this is like the moment when he's, you know, like really hits him how severe the situation is, because people don't just have IVs for no reason.
Right.
No.
Really crazy.
No, they don't.
No, they do not. So this is the perfect way for us to segue into chapter 12, another lovely chapter name. Thank you, Jacob. And it is, some people just don't grasp the concept of unwelcome. I love that. It says so much. It's so long.
Me, I'm just kidding.
So semi-surprising, I was a little bit surprised at what happens at the start of the chapter. Leah joins them.
Yeah.
Why do you guys think that she decided to join them? Was it because she wanted to get away from her ex-boyfriend and all his baggage? Or did she miss her brother and want to protect him?
I think it's all about the bloodline. I think she wants to protect her brother and support him, for sure.
But I think that she is deluding herself to think that it's all about her protecting her brother. But really, I think that she sees this as an opportunity to get away from the baggage. And I think even though she's got this love-hate thing going on with Jacob, it's because they're probably a little bit more symbiotic than they anticipate. And the fact that he's like, oh, I think I could deal with her being in my head all the time, but it makes me a little crazy. And them softening towards one another, I think, says something about their ability to sort of relate to each other on a less sort of primal wolf level. And it's not just about the good guys and the bad guys. And I think that that's Sam's MO.
Yeah, definitely, because that's all he has really to grasp onto. He doesn't have like a gray area so much. I'm not a science person by any means, but I was fascinated by all the discussion of DNA and chromosomes that humans have 23, Jacob has 24 as a werewolf, and vampires have 25. And Carlisle got Jacob's blood when he was treating him like the year before.
And didn't tell him.
Yeah, that was so funny. Do you know anything about science? Like, do you know what this means at
but
all?
I deduced.
You haven't done your research?
I deduced from my experiences in AP Bio.
Nice, yes.
I think it was a really sort of elementary way of us being able to say like 23 chromosomes, 25 chromosomes, halfway in the middle is 24. So maybe that's how it all kind of relates together. But I thought it was interesting that they were able to sort of throw that in there.
Yeah.
And in actuality, none of them are any that different from one another.
Well, that's what I thought was really the point here, is that like DNA-wise, chromosome-wise, they're not that different. It's not like, oh, I have 23 and you have 47.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just one little step away from each other, which makes a huge difference, but it's really kind of close.
Yeah.
I
Still think there's a whole lot going on in that DNA
I
beyond the chromosome.
What is going on with that one chromosome?
Yeah. So Edward reads Jacob's thoughts about the baby when they're discussing, Bella, the situation and everything. And they decide to go with something that Rosalie had initially discussed and sort of suggested, that Bella should drink human blood, and she is totally down for it.
Because she's a vampire and she's used to drinking blood anyway, so it seems normal to her.
But I was like, really? And then she had her little sippy cup with her straw, and she's like, I'm like,
gross.
this ain't Jamba Juice, honey.
So gross.
I just was sort of, and then she's like, I like it. I'd like some more. And I'm like,
Oh,
it was
so foul.
It was a little much for me.
Well, I just wanted to read this. This is like towards the end of the chapter. Rosalie tells her that they happen to have some blood on hand, which is, doesn't make sense.
Milk in the fridge, blood in the fridge.
Maybe it was for Carlisle. He's doing a transfusion or something. Who knows? But Bella ran her hand across her stomach and then said, well, in a rasped, barely audible voice, I'm starving, so I'll bet he is too. And then she says, let's go for it. My first vampire act. Oh, I don't know.
It's interesting that she says he.
Yes. She calls it a boy the whole time.
Yeah.
She thinks it's a boy. But only a girl
So
would put you through that.
interesting.
Yeah, let's face it.
I love that they made that decision for the book. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where these chapters finish off. I think that this is going to play out really dramatically in the movie. A lot of emotion, action.
I can't wait to see it on the silver screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so curious how this is going to play out.
Especially this part of the book. Lots of special effects, I think. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
there's special effects throughout the entire movie, but I mean, especially with her pregnancy and everything like that.
And it's like, it's a long, drawn-out process in the book, too, so I'm interested to see how they're going to truncate that a little bit.
Right.
How much of the time will be with Bella as she suffers through the baby punching through her stomach, and how they're going to deal with, like, all the pain issues, and then, you know,
All the
Jake
wolf
and
stuff,
Edward.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's some real opportunities for them to take some creative leaps and elevate, you know, some of the dramatic moments and like make them really cool. And I'm also really excited to see how the actors sort of give it their take.
Exactly.
So.
And I actually, you know, this is a super interactive thing, so I involved our audience as well on Facebook and Twitter. And I asked a question that, you know, I kind of wrestled with at the beginning as Jake was leaving the pack, because I worry about Seth because he's so young. And I was thinking, you know, this is a really big deal for him. Do you guys think it was a good choice for him to leave the pack? After all, you know, it kind of did have a snowball effect. After this, we see everything change. And our viewers were very opinionated. Let me read you some of their comments. So Tiffany Channel on Facebook said yes, she thought it was a good idea, especially since Jacob was supposed to be the alpha anyways. Also, he grew up close to the Cullens and didn't see anything happening to them. He was a kid, a really young kid with a big heart. And I think that goes back to what you were saying about future generations being totally different as far as the vampire-wolf relationship. Another viewer, Janet Anessa Rampersad, love your name, by the way, said, yes, it was a good idea. Seth is at the age where he does know right from wrong, and protecting the Cullens was the right thing to do, and Seth can keep keep Jake calm when needed. That wasn't something I had thought of.
That's
before.
a really good point, I think, because he does sort of, like brings him off the ledge a little bit in moments. Just, I think, simply because he's so matter-of-fact about things and doesn't take things so seriously and doesn't hold the old grudges. And I think Jake really wants to protect Seth, so it makes him stop and think before acting rashly.
So what would you say, ladies, was your highlight from these two chapters? We're getting closer and closer to what I think is going to be the big final moment of the first movie, although we don't know, but there's a lot happening to set that up in these chapters.
I think I loved seeing Jake's pure compassion and just stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
That was enough for me. I like seeing the Cullens and half of the wolf pack, the ex-wolf pack, coming together a little bit and just trying to come up with a solution, because we know there's a whole lot more evil coming down the pipeline.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ladies?
As gross as it is with the drinking the blood thing, that was the highlight for me. I mean, it definitely stuck out for me. I don't know if like highlight necessarily means it has to be your favorite part. It's definitely the part that stuck out the most and the part that I want to see in the movie, and the part that I was the most shocked by.
Definitely.
That Bella would say, all right, let's do this. And that she would drink more after having the first cup.
That's bloody disgusting.
It sure is, Dana.
I am on the same page. For me, it was all about the drinking the blood, and is she really going to do this? And the fact that she liked it and wanted more, and she was like slurping the bottom of the sippy cup and like, you know, like it was just so, I think it was so jarring and so shocking that she would do it, and it was described so intricately, and I was just like, you know, it made me want to go have a Bloody Mary.
Once again, why not?
This is fiction.
This is not real.
Some
you
women
guys.
like
Again,
pickles
it's
when
fiction.
they're pregnant, others like blood.
No
I
big
guess
deal.
so.
And of course, I want to leave you guys with a question to kind of comment on this video. And I really want to go along with something that I feel like was something we really discussed a lot, and that was about this new generation of werewolves and vampires. And even though we don't know what happens down the line with all of these individuals, would you guys say that there really is this new relationship developing, that in the future, hypothetically, we would see a totally different vampire werewolf society? Let us know in the comment section, because we've got to get your opinions.
Vampolves.
Vampolves!
I love that.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for the invite.
And I know you have to jet off to hang out with Big Time Rush.
Oh,
so you're about to grab a car right now.
challenging life I have.
But thank you so much for making the time to come hang out with us.
Of course, thanks. This is so much fun.
Yes.
I loved
and
it.
of course, I have to thank Dana Ward, who I sit with every day. Great times, good times. And Bridget Daly from ClevverMusic, our in-house Twihard and all things Twilight soundtrack. Go over and check her out. And make sure to stick with us, guys, every single Saturday leading up to the big premiere. We're going to be breaking down the Breaking Dawn book, all things book club, all things for you guys. So stick with us. Thanks for watching. See you later.
See ya.